What's up, guys? Coming at you today with a full slate of MLB action here on Tuesday, September 9th. We're going to give out plays on every MLB game on the slate. I'll give you my favorite underdog pick of the day and my massive lock, my pick that regardless of price, I think has the best chance of cashing today. Slam that like button and subscribe to the channel to make sure you keep seeing these videos every single day, and let us know what you're thinking in the comments. I personally read and answer every comment I get. Check the pinned comment throughout the day to see our favorite picks, and you should definitely check back a couple of times throughout the day to see if there are any changes with injury news coming out and starters being confirmed. Yesterday, guys, still have a few irons left in the fire, but it's looking like a brutal day overall. We obviously, had the Vikings. We'll see if they can complete this comeback. They're now down 17-12, so they're still live with over 10 minutes left in the fourth quarter, so maybe that can help us out. We had the under there in that Kansas City Royals Cleveland Guardians game. Maybe the worst start of Burgert's life. He gave up 8 runs in only 3 1/3 innings. Super annoying because our under would have been extremely safe since Saccone worked a no-hitter into the 7th inning. So yeah, definitely feel like that one should have cashed, but yeah, Burgert just not being able to find it there. We had the Mets at -115, and somehow they managed to get completely shut out over 9 innings, only managing 5 hits in the entire game and blowing a great scoring chance there in the 9th inning. Super tilting stuff to see them flounder against Nola, who's been mediocre all season long. Speaking of teams floundering, guys, we had the Brewers at -120, and despite having the same number of hits as the Rangers, we see the Brewers take the 5-0 loss. Quintana wasn't very good out there, and Latz was excellent along with the Rangers bullpen. Really, really frustrating here to be on the wrong end of 2 shutouts in one night. We've got a couple plays still live, though, like I was saying, guys, and there's some decent value out there still to be had if we could cash Arizona as our dog of the day at +160. They're currently tied up with the Giants there going into the 5th inning, so we'll see if that can come through for us. We also have the Angels at -125 as our massive lock of the day. That's in the top of the 4th inning, and we'll see. It would be nice to win those two, maybe even the Vikings, and come away with, a pretty break-even, maybe even just slightly winning day. That would be feel like a massive win at this point because the early going has been pretty tough sledding. But we're going to shake it off either way, guys. We're going to dive back in. I know you guys have all been itching for a full slate of MLB action to get covered, and that's what we're doing today. So we're going to go ahead and dive right in here. We've got a nice slate, and first up, we've got the Pittsburgh Pirates heading to Baltimore to take on the Orioles. The Pirates come into this game not exactly having a great time. They just got swept in a 3-game series there by the Brewers, and it's 64-80 on the season. Clearly, they are not headed anywhere, important here towards the postseason. They're going to hand the ball in this one to Mike Burrows, who's 2-4 on the year, a 4.08 ERA. This young 25-year-old right-hander's done some positive stuff this year. They did, send him to the bullpen, and he had one pretty rough outing there against the Red Sox, and then a pretty good outing over 3 innings against the Dodgers. But as a starter, he was having some mixed results, some success, some failures. He's a 25-year-old pitcher on a big league mound. You can expect him to be a little bit inconsistent. So we'll see what he can do here against the Orioles. He hasn't faced them yet this year. I know that's no major shock, but I'm expecting generally decent stuff from Mike Burrows, but definitely no miracles from this kid out there on the mound. He's been being moved all over the place. Inconsistency can be a little bit of a problem. Just inconsistency in your spot can be a problem for a baseball player. So we'll see what he looks like. Obviously, the Pirates bullpen, not great, a 4.11 bullpen ERA. It's had its moments this season, but this is not looking like one of them. The offense, 2-1-2 runs in that series there against the Brewers. Seems like those bats have cooled back off after a weirdly hot couple weeks there. They're still last in the majors in runs scored. They are 28th in batting average. They are last in slugging percentage. There's just not a lot of positive level bats here on this Pirates team. It's been a pretty bleak season for them at the plate. So we'll see what they can do here on the road, going up against the Orioles, who at 66-77 are in a similar boat there to what we're seeing for the Pirates. They're not headed to the postseason either, but they've been playing great. They won 5 out of their last 6 in a 3-game series against the Padres. They swept them and then won 2 out of 3 against the Dodgers. So the Orioles actually playing really well here down the stretch. Will that continue? We'll have to wait and see. They're going to hand the ball in this one to Kyle Brandish, who's 0-1 on the year, a 3.60 ERA. This is only his 3rd start of the season. His year didn't start until August 26th, and he had a really good first start of the year, doing well over 6 innings against the Red Sox and striking out 10. He followed that up with a mediocre 4 innings, 4 hits, 2 earned run performance there against the Padres, but the Orioles did get the 4-3 win in that one, so I honestly like this spot pretty much here for Kyle Brandish, getting to take advantage of a pretty weak hitting opponent. So we'll see what he does. I think he's going to be pretty good. We'll see what the bullpen can do behind him. The Orioles bullpen's been quite a bit better here recently. Obviously, over the course of the season, they've struggled a lot, but there's been plenty to feel good about here over their last 6 games. So maybe they can keep things rolling here. The offense, 2-4-2, 7-6-4 over their positive playing here recently isn't necessarily incredible stuff. They're 23rd in batting average this season. They're 13th in slugging percentage, but 22nd in on-base percentage. Gunnar Henderson's been okay this year. Young Jackson Holliday's done some positive stuff, but this team overall took a massive, massive step backwards this season in terms of what they were doing at the plate. So, looking at the numbers for this game, the Pirates are minus 135. The Orioles are minus 160. We've got a total of 8.5 out there. The Pirates are 22 and 47 on the road this year. A terrible road team. 40, 26, and 3 to the under on the road. The Orioles, 33 and 38 at home. 36, 33, and 2 to the under at home. I'm not really interested in under 8.5. This feels like it could be a big offensive day there for the Orioles, and that's a big reason why I like them here at minus 160. I don't trust Mike Burrows right now at all out there on the mound, if I'm being honest. Kyle Brandish has thrown the ball pretty well. Gonna need him to go more than 4 innings in this game, but against a very, very weak Pirates offense, I think that's very, very likely. So the Orioles, despite the fact they're minus 160, have a legit shot to make the pin comment today. Next up, we're looking at the Kansas City Royals heading to Cleveland to take on the Guardians. The Royals at 73 and 71 on the year, very much in the wildcard hunt out there in the American League. They have lost 2 in a row now. They're going to hand the ball in this one to Noah Cameron, hoping he can get them back on track. He's 7 and 6 on the year, a 3.03 ERA. He's fresh off of a decent start against the Angels. 5 innings, 5 hits, and 3 earned runs, and a 4-3 win. Looks good, but when you see that he walked 5, that doesn't look great. It was a bounce back after a bad start there against the White Sox, so we'll see what we get out of him here going up against a Cleveland team that he faced back in late July and was excellent in that outing. So I'm expecting generally good stuff from Noah Cameron in this game. In terms of the bullpen situation, obviously that has not been the problem for the Royals this year. Top 4, top 5, basically all year long. An excellent bullpen. The problem is their lack of offense. They've scored 2-1, 11, 2-4, and 3 over their last few games. Just not a good offensive team, guys. They're 28th in runs scored. They are 24th in on-base percentage all year long. What has really held this team back is no real reliable kind of offensive performance from anyone basically across the board. So that's been a bit rough. We'll see what they do here going on the road against the Guardians, who had 73 and 70 on the year. Very, very much there in the mix in the wild card race as well. They've won 4 in a row and are going to hand the ball in this one to Joey Cantillo, who's sporting a 3.73 ERA. His last 3 starts have all been excellent. Very good against Boston, Atlanta, and the White Sox, giving up 1 earned run in each of those outings. Now, the Guardians are only 2-1 over that span. Not a lot of offense and support. The last time he faced the Royals back on the July 27th, and he wasn't great. 4 innings, 3 hits, 3 earned runs allowed, and he walked 4 in that start. So we'll see if he can do a little bit better this time around. It didn't look great the last time. Now, the bullpen behind him has been excellent. A 3.59 bullpen ERA has them right there in the same kind of conversation as the Royals bullpen. The offense has been hitting the ball a little bit better. 10, 2, 3, 7, 2, and 8 over their last few. It's some pretty hot hitting for a team that's 27th in the majors in runs scored and last in the majors in batting average, as well as last in the majors in on-base percentage. So we'll see what happens in this one. Looking at the numbers, the Royals are plus 110. The Guardians are minus 125. We've got a total of 7.5 in this game. The Royals are 33 and 35 on the road, 34, 33, and 1 to the under on the road. Cleveland, 35 and 33 at home, 33, 32, and 3 to the over at home. This is definitely a spot where I'm looking at the Royals as a potential dog of the day. They're plus 110, a very reasonable price. I think they've had a great chance to come out on top in this game with Noah Cameron on the mound. In terms of the total, I would lean a bit towards under 7.5, a bit potentially towards the no-run first inning as well, but I'm not going to get too involved in the total in this one, I don't think. I think the Royals as a side is more where we want to go. Next up, guys, we're looking at the Washington Nationals heading to Miami to take on the Marlins. The Nationals got the blowout 15-7 win there in Game 1 of this series, and at 58 and 84 on the year, clearly don't have a lot to play for, but they've won 6 out of their last 7 games, including a 3-game sweep of the Marlins. So the Nationals probably feel themselves right now handing the ball to Mitchell Parker in this game. He's 7 and 15 on the year, a 5.87 ERA. His last start, 4 and 2 innings, 7 hits, 4 runs, 2 of which were earned against the Marlins in a 10-5 win. So yeah, if they're going to find a way to win this game, it's probably going to be the bats that have to do it because we haven't seen Mitchell Parker look very good in recent memory. The bullpen for the Nationals also is the worst bullpen in the majors by bullpen ERA, a 5.35 ERA coming out of the pen. Atrocious stuff there. The offense has been getting it done, though. 15, 6, 2, 5, 10, and 5 over their last few games is very hot hitting for a team that's 24th in the majors in runs scored and 25th in slugging percentage. So we'll see what they can do here against the slumping Miami Marlins, who have lost, what is it up to now, 5 of their last 6 or something like that. They'll hand the ball in this one to Adam Mauser, who's 0-2 on the year, a 5.74 ERA. He got shelled by the Nationals the last time he faced them. 6 innings, 10 hits, 5 runs, 4 of which were earned in a 5-2 loss. So we'll see if he's got a bounce back in him. He's only made 3 starts this year, and he's looked okay, but not somebody that I'm super high on, that's for sure. Also not super high on that Marlins bullpen. A 4.47 bullpen ERA is real bad, and the offense, 7.52, 3.5, and 2 over their last few. not amazing. They're down to 19th in runs scored. They're 20th in on-base percentage and 22nd in the majors. And slugging percentage, like a lot of negatives right now for the Marlins. And honestly, more negatives for the Marlins right now than for the Nationals. So looking at the numbers here, guys, the Nationals are plus 110. The Marlins are minus 130. We've got a total of 9 in this game. Washington's 28-42 on the road, 35-30 and 5 to the over on the road. Miami is 31-39 at home, 37-33 to the under at home. I'll take the Nationals. They're the hotter team by far. They're playing better. They've shown dominance in this matchup. They're going to need offense to win this game, but against Mauser and that Miami bullpen, I think they're likely to get it. Is this game going in the pinned comment? Hell no, guys. I don't trust either one of these teams. I don't trust either one of these starters. Get me away from this one. Hey guys, hopping here with a quick shout out to the sponsor of today and every day's video, and that is stumpthespread.com. Click the link in the description to go over there and see the top confidence picks from our entire team of experienced cappers. Right now, our premium members are getting daily MLB, UFC, NFL, and college football picks. Our Major League Baseball has been our most profitable sport the last several years in a row. It's had a great 2025 season so far, but NFL has been great. A profitable week 1 is already in the books. NCAA football has taken some lumps this season, but the early going can be rough, especially with all the player movement you see due to the portal. So I'm expecting that to round into form here down the stretch as well. So definitely get over to stumpthespread.com. That's where you'll be able to see our exclusive free picks that are only posted there, our free to use bet size calculator, and those premium top confidence picks, which might not, usually will not always match what you see here from me in these videos, because I'm not the premium MLB, NFL, or NCAA football handicapper. Over there at Stump the Spread, we have a team of experts covering these sports, with each having at least more than a decade's worth of experience covering each one. So a ton of experience and a ton of work is going into those premium plays every single day, guys. Some very, very intricate tools and algorithms are used to make those predictions, taking a crazy amount of data points into consideration on every single play. So it's really tough when you see one of those lose, because you're just like, all that research, all that hard work just went down the drain. But over the long haul, guys, a ton of work is going in, and we feel very, very good about the spots that we put you guys in on a daily basis. So definitely get over there, check that out. Speaking of premium picks, guys, it looks like the premium picks for September the 8th, we've got a bit of a mixed bag in there. The under is definitely still live in that Boston Athletics game. JJ McCarthy under 31.5 passing yards. Looks like that's going to be good as gold. The Angels going to have to pull some sort of comeback here, but that's a smaller play. The Mariners as a big 2-unit play are looking very, very good. Unfortunately, that no-run first inning on the Boston Athletics game didn't cash, but overall looks like it could be a pretty positive day there for the premium members at Stump the Spread. Also, go over to stumpthespread.com by clicking the link down in the description to get on our free email newsletter list. Over there at Stump the Spread, we send out one email every single day straight to your inbox or your spam folder, so check in there, but it'll have at least one, oftentimes 2 free picks in it, information on niche sports betting like golf, NASCAR, tennis, big write-ups on NFL, NCAA, football, all kinds of good stuff in those every single day. Also, parlays are often included in those emails. So it's a great resource. Any serious sports bettor, you definitely want to be getting over there and getting on that email list. No doubt about that. And if you're a huge fan of what you're seeing from us here every single day, you can sign up for a YouTube channel membership by clicking the little join button right below the video. YouTube channel members are eligible for our members only giveaways. We'll be giving away a Stump the Spread hoodie to one random channel member here on the 15th. We give away a free Stump the Spread hoodie every single week. Here we'll be doing our next giveaway on the 15th. So coming up before you know it, guys, it's a great time to become a YouTube channel member. You also get your name up on screen in every video and early access to all of our videos. So definitely check that out if you're interested, but we're gonna go ahead and dive back in. We've got lots of games still to cover today. And next up, we're gonna be looking at the New York Mets going on the road to take on the Philadelphia Phillies. The Mets are not having a great time at the moment. They let us down yesterday, losing 1-0, getting shut out by the Phillies is kind of embarrassing. They've lost 3 in a row now. They're 76-78 on the year. Still looking fine in the wild card race, but man, yeah, looking real rough if they wanted to be competitive in the NL East. They're going to hand the ball in this one to Sean Manaea. He's 1-2 on the year, a 5.60 ERA. He got demolished by the Tigers his last time on the mound. That being said, the Mets did win 10-8, but he gave up 8 hits and 5 earned runs over only 3 2/3 innings of work. It's been pretty brutal for him down the stretch. He had an okay outing, I guess, against the Phillies back on the 26th, but 4 2/3 innings, 6 hits, 2 earned runs. He did have 8 strikeouts, but I don't know. I didn't necessarily love what I saw from Manaea in that outing. So we'll see which version of him we get in this one. Obviously, the Mets bullpen has had some problems down the stretch, all the way up to a bullpen ERA of nearly 4. That's not great. And for a team with about $1 billion payroll, their offense has been atrocious. Getting shut out yesterday, 2 runs against the Reds the game before that, 3 runs the game before that. Like, it has not looked great at the plate for this team in quite some time. They're 9th in the majors in runs scored. They're 10th in batting average. All that is awesome. But right now, they're not swinging the hottest bats. So we'll see what they do against the Phillies. They come into this game 84-60 on the season. Obviously, Turner going to the IL there, hoping to be back for the playoffs. That's a bit of a blow, but they do get the win their last time out, and they're cruising there in the NL East. They'll hand the ball in this one to Ranger Suarez, who's 11-6 on the season, a 2.89 ERA. He's coming off a dominant start there against Milwaukee. 6 innings, 6 hits, no runs allowed. He didn't face the Phillies in that recent series. He hasn't faced the Mets. He hasn't faced the Mets since. Oh wait, has he not faced them this year? He hasn't faced the Mets this year. Okay, fair enough. So no outings for Suarez here against the Mets, but I'm expecting pretty good stuff from him in this one. He's been throwing the ball really well recently. Did have that game against the Braves where he gave a ton of hits, but pitched out of trouble. And with the Phillies got the 2-1 win. The Phillies are 4-0 over his last 4 starts. So a lot of good stuff there from Suarez. The bullpen seems to be slightly improving, but I'm never really going to trust the Phillies bullpen this season, if I'm going to be honest. The offense only putting up 1 run yesterday definitely leads me to believe that they are due for some sort of bounce back. They are 10th in the majors run scored this season. They are 3rd in batting average, 6th in on-base percentage, and a top 10 slugging percentage team. So looking at the numbers here, guys, the Mets are plus 110. The Phillies are minus 130. A total of 8.5 in this one. The Mets 31-39 on the road. 33-30-7 to the under on the road. The Phillies are 45-23 at home. That's an MLB best home mark. 33-31-4 to the over at home. Not interested in the total in this game, but I will certainly take the Phillies at minus 130. I think it's a very, very solid value spot. I don't trust Manaea at all. I think Ranger Suarez is going to go out there and have a good outing, so definitely give me the Phillies playing at home. Next on the docket, we're looking at the Detroit Tigers heading to New York to take on the Yankees. The Tigers just lost 2 out of 3 against the White Sox, but lucky for them, they play in the AL Central, where you don't even have to be that great. They haven't been playing amazing recently. They're still 8.5 games up on Cleveland. They're going to hand the ball in this one to Casey Mize, who's 13-5 on the year, a 3.87 ERA. His last start, 5 innings, 5 hits, 1 run allowed there against the Mets, and a 6-2 win. The Tigers are 4-1 over his last 5 starts. Not that those starts have always been amazing, but he's looked pretty good, albeit against some kind of middle-of-the-road competition. Now, we'll see what he can do here against the Yankees. Obviously, a bit of a tougher team to face. He hasn't faced them since back in early April, and he was excellent in that outing, but we'll see if that translates here to an excellent outing against the Yankees. Now, the bullpen for the Tigers is starting to round into form, down to a 4.01 bullpen ERA. Still leaves plenty of room for improvement, and they didn't look necessarily amazing there against the White Sox, but steps in the right direction for sure. Offensively, 4, 6, and 5 runs in that series against the White Sox doesn't fill me with optimism. They're still 8th in the majors in runs scored, 12th in batting average, 14th in on-base percentage. Guys like Riley Green are having very good years. We'll see what they're able to do here, hitting in Yankee Stadium. Now, the Yankees just won 2 out of 3 against the Blue Jays, a very key series there. They're only 2 games back of Toronto now in the race out there in the AL East. They're going to hand the ball in this one to Will Warren. He's 8-6 on the season, a 4.28 ERA. This young guy was instrumental in keeping the Yankees in this race. Recently, I don't know if he's had the best results. His last start was good. 5 innings, 5 hits, 2 earned runs against the Astros in an 8-7 loss. We'll see which version of him we get here against the Detroit Tigers, a team that he maybe hasn't even faced yet. No, he has not faced yet this year. So we'll see how that goes. Will Warren, I think he'll be okay out there. Will he be great? I don't know. The Yankees bullpen has been looking quite a bit better here down the stretch. The season-long numbers still don't look too pretty, but we'll see what they're able to do in this series against the Tigers. Maybe this could be a little bit of a measuring stick for where they're at. Once playoffs are looming, guys. Playoffs are coming. So we'll see how that goes. Offensively, 4-3-1 in that series against Toronto doesn't really get me super jazzed up. They did score 8-7-7 against the Astros, so that was a bigger sign of good things to come. They are 1st in the majors in runs scored. They are 1st in the majors in slugging percentage, so a lot of positive stuff for the Yankees at the plate. Obviously, one of the scariest teams you can possibly face out there. So looking at the numbers for this one, the Tigers are plus 130, the Yankees are minus 155. A total of 8.5 in this game. Detroit's 36-33 on the road. 37-31-1 to the over on the road. The Yankees are 43-29 at home, 39-31-2 to the under at home. With the way Will Warren has looked recently, it makes me a little bit nervous to take the Yankees, especially as big favorites here. I'm going to lean just slightly towards the Tigers at plus 130. This is not a pinned comment kind of play, so don't overreact to this or anything, but I will lean just a bit towards Detroit in this specific spot. Cruising along here, guys, we're looking at the Houston Astros going on the road to take on the Toronto Blue Jays. Unfortunately, no numbers out for this game, and I'm not really sure why. The Astros coming off losing 2 out of 3 against the Rangers. They've only got a 2.5 game lead there in the AL West. They're going to hand the ball in this one to Luis Garcia. He's 1-0 on the year, a 4.50 ERA. Has only made that one start. That was back on the 1st against the Angels in 6 innings, 3 hits, 3 earned runs, and an 8-3 win. 6 strikeouts, no walks. looks pretty good. So we'll see. He's about to be severely tested here by the Toronto Blue Jays. We'll see how it goes. The bullpen for the Astros has been pretty solid all year long. A 3.71 bullpen ERA is definitely not something I'll be complaining about. Offensively, though, you never know what you're going to get on a night-to-night basis from the Astros. They scored 2 runs in Game 3 of this series, 11 runs in Game 2. I mean, over the course of the year, they're 22nd in runs scored. They are 7th in batting average, 15th in on-base percentage. Your guess is as good as mine whether the Astros are going to hit the ball or not on a nightly basis. So we'll see what they're going to do here against the Blue Jays, who at 82-61 on the year can't feel great about losing 2 out of 3 against the Yankees in some very close games. There's still 2 full games up, though, in the AL East. They're going to hand the ball in this one to Jose Barrios, who's 9-5 on the season, a 4.02 ERA. His last outing, he only went 2 innings there against the Reds, gave up 6 runs, only 2 of which were earned. It was a pretty brutal outing. He had just had a good start against the Marlins. We'll see what he can do here against a much more legitimate team like the Astros. He hasn't faced them yet this year, but I'm expecting Barrios to have a pretty good time in this outing. The Blue Jays bullpen is not great. It hasn't been great pretty much all year long. The offense, though, can really carry this team. It's definitely capable of it. They're 4th in runs scored, 1st in both batting average and on-base percentage, and they're a top 5 slugging percentage team. This squad, once again, is banking on offense being able to carry them when the games matter the most. So we'll see if that works out. Like I said, unfortunately, no numbers for this game. Houston's basically a 500 road team and a slight over team on the road. Toronto is one of the best teams at home in the MLB and a big over team at home. An MLB best 42, 25, and 2 to the over at home. So we'll have to wait and see once we get numbers for this game, but I'd be shocked if I didn't like the Toronto Blue Jays in this spot. Next on the docket, we're looking at the Chicago Cubs heading to Atlanta to take on the Braves. The Cubs at 81-63 in the year, not having a great time. They've lost 4 out of their last 5 games. They're still fine in the wild card situation and all that, but they've really kind of let go of the rope here, and they're now 7.5 games back of the Brewers. The Cubs will hand the ball in this one to Cade Horton, who's 9-4 on the season, a 2.78 ERA. He shut out the Braves over 5 innings the last time he faced them. 5 innings, no hits allowed, struck out 6 and walked 1. That was a game the Cubs would eventually lose 5-1, but Cade Horton was lights out there. The Cubs bullpen has not been as good down the stretch, but is still competent usually. The offense, though, has just disappeared. 1-3-1, 11-1, and 4 over their last few. Yeah, I mean, it's been a bit rough. They're down to 7th in the majors in runs scored, 15th in batting average, 11th in on-base percentage. This was looking like it was going to be one of the most dominant offenses in the majors in the early goings, and that just has not been the case down the stretch. So we'll see what they can do here in Atlanta, taking on a Braves team that's won 3 out of their last 5. They got off to a good start with that 4-1 win in Game 1 of this series. They'll hand the ball in this one to Spencer Strider. He's 5-12 on the season, a 4.97 ERA. Been a little bit better his last couple times on the mound, I guess, but he had a really rough stretch there for a while, and 5 innings, 5 hits, 3 earned runs against the Cubs in a 7-6 extra inning loss. He walked 3 and struck out 1. I don't really feel like he's going to have a dominant outing in this game. The bullpen for the Braves has not been great this year in general. A 4.32 bullpen ERA is very concerning. Offensively, Atlanta has scored 4-2-2. 4, 5, and 3 over their last several games, and they're 15th in runs scored, 19th in batting average, 20th in slugging percentage. I'm having a hard time finding a ton of positives here for this team. It's a little bit bleak. So looking at the numbers, guys, the Braves and Cubs are listed as coin flips in this game. We're going to do a little quick double check on these numbers, make sure something didn't get lost in translation or something. But as far as I know, the odds makers have this as a coin flip. Yep, you can find -105s, -110s. Yeah, it's basically a coin flip. And if you're asking me about a coin flip, I bet you can guess which side I'm going to go with. The total's 8.5. Cubs are 3 games above 500 on the road, 34, 32, and 5 to the over on the road. Atlanta's 34 and 35 at home, 36, 29, and 4 to the under at home. I will certainly take the Cubs here at -110. Seems like a crazy spot to miss out on. With Cade Horton on the mound against a team he could theoretically throw a no-hitter against, I think this is a pretty good spot to back Chicago. Next up, guys, another game where unfortunately we're not showing any numbers yet, despite, we're recording in a pretty normal time. I don't know why the odds makers won't release these, but we got the Tampa Bay Rays heading to Chicago to take on the White Sox. The Rays just lost 3 out of 4 there to the Guardians. Now they're a game below 500. A lot of work to do if they want to threaten for a wild card berth. They're going to hand the ball in this one to Adrian Hauser, who's 8-4 on the year, a 3.01 ERA. Coming off a decent but not dominant start there against the Mariners, he gave up 4 earned runs over 7 innings on 4 hits. He did strike out 8 and only walk 1. Seems like he's getting better here as he settles in, with his new team after coming over there from the White Sox. We'll see how this start goes against his old team. The bullpen for Tampa Bay is good. A 3.67 bullpen ERA is not something to complain about, but the offense dried up the last 3 games there against the Guardians, scoring 1, 2, and 1 run respectively. This was looking like a dominant offensive team there for quite a while. They're still 8th in batting average, but down to 19th in on-base percentage, 14th in slugging percentage. They're just not swinging the hottest bats at the moment. So we'll see what they can do here against the White Sox, who at 55 and 89 on the year have a lot of work to do themselves. Just to improve their franchise. That being said, they've played a lot better down the stretch. They won 4-game series there, won all 4 against the Twins, won 2 out of 3 against the Tigers. They're actually still trying. We'll see what happens here as they hand the ball to Yoendrys Gomez, who's 3-2 on the year, a 4.79 ERA. His last start had to pitch out a lot of trouble there against the Twins, but the White Sox did get the 4-3 win. Overall, we'll see what he can do. I mean, he's thrown the ball okay in 3 out of his last 5 starts, but the other ones, the other starts in there didn't look great. He hasn't faced Tampa Bay since back in April, so we'll see what happens in this one. Like I said, no numbers for this game. The White Sox bullpen, not amazing. The White Sox offense, as you all know, not amazing either, but they've been swinging the bats a lot better recently. 6-0-7, 11-4, and 12 over their last few. They're still 26th in runs scored over the course of the year and 27th batting average, but the bats have been a little bit warmer recently. Tampa Bay, guys, no numbers. Like I said, Tampa Bay slightly, below 500 team on the road, slight under team on the road. The White Sox 30-42 at home, 38-29 and 5 to the over at home. I'm not sure which way I'm going to be leaning in this one, guys. Potentially the Rays, but gotta wait and see once we get some numbers. Next on the docket, guys, finally a game where it makes sense that we don't have numbers. We've got the Milwaukee Brewers heading to the Rangers. We don't have a confirmed starter here for the Brewers, who, at 89 and 56 have to feel pretty good about life at the moment. They did sweep the Pirates, but then lost game 1 of this series. No idea who's going to start this one for them yet, so got to stay tuned for that. The bullpen's been excellent. That's not been a problem down the stretch, really. The offense has maybe cooled off just a hair, but after getting shut out there yesterday, I'm expecting them to figure things out in this one. So we'll see what they do against the Rangers. Obviously, the Rangers need every win they can get. They're only 3.5 games back in the AL West, and they're making noise in the wildcard hunt in the American League as well. They're going to hand the ball to Jack Leiter in this one. This young 25-year-old is 9-8 on the year, a 3.74 ERA. He's coming off very good starts against Arizona, Sacramento, Cleveland. He's throwing the ball really, really well right now, right when they've needed him to do that. So that's going to be a great feeling for him and for the franchise. He doesn't have any history against the Brewers this season, so we'll see how that goes. But I'm expecting him to continue to throw the ball well, and whenever he has to come out of the game, that Rangers bullpen is pretty legit, a 3.72 bullpen ERA. I can get behind that. The offense has looked a little bit better recently, not over the course of the year necessarily, but 5-4-0, 4-0, and 3 over their last few isn't the end of the world for a team that's 20th in runs scored, 26th in on-base percentage, and batting .237 as a team. So, like I said, unfortunately, no numbers for this one. The Brewers, the best road team in the MLB this season, and a slight under team on the road. The Rangers, 43-28 at home, a very good home team, 44-26 and 1 to the under at home. So, under always has to be taken into consideration when you're looking at a Rangers game. So, obviously, this has to be a wait and see spot once again since we have no numbers out, but keep on checking that pinned comment, guys. One of these games that has no numbers out is pretty likely to eventually end up in the pinned comment tomorrow. Next up, guys, we're looking at the Minnesota Twins heading to LA to take on the Angels. The Twins and Angels are actually playing right now. They're in the bottom of the 5th inning with the Twins now up 5-3. So that's unfortunate. Need the Angels to make a comeback for us here. We'll see if it can happen. The Twins, obviously, at 63 and 80, don't have anything left to play for this season. They're going to hand the ball in this one to Zebby Matthews, who's 4-4 on the year, a 4.73 ERA. Coming off a great start against the White Sox, but other than that, he's had definitely had his hands full down the stretch this year. He's had some good starts, don't get me wrong, but it's been far from sunshine and rainbows for Zebby Matthews this season on their mound. Now, the bullpen for the Twins has been atrocious. 4.62 bullpen ERA has them in the bottom 6 in all of the major leagues, and the offense hasn't been amazing. 5 runs in their current game looks good. 5-5, 2-1, 8, 3, and 3 over their last few. They're 25th in runs scored. They are 24th in batting average, 21st in on-base percentage. A lot of pretty mediocre news there coming out of Minnesota. So we'll see what they do here on the road against the Angels, who we need to make that bounce back. They're also not a team that's likely to make the postseason, obviously. They're going to hand the ball to Kyle Hendricks, who's 6-9 on the year, a 4.81 ERA. His last start, 6 innings, 3 hits, 2 earned runs allowed there against the Royals. His last 2 starts, he's looked excellent. We'll see if that can continue here. Over his last 5, he didn't look that great against the Cubs or the Dodgers or the Reds. So we'll see which version of Kyle Hendricks we get in this one. I mean, going up against the Minnesota Twins, probably not the scariest team to face. He hasn't faced them since back in April and had a terrible time there. So we'll see how things go. The bullpen behind him is terrible. The Angels, one of the worst 3 or 4 bullpens in the majors. The offense has looked terrible recently as well. I mean, 3, 4, 4, 4, and 3 over their last few games. They're 23rd in runs scored. They're 29th in batting average, 28th in on-base percentage, and right now having trouble against a pitcher they had positive history against. So we'll see what we get out of the Angels in this game. Looking at the numbers here, the Twins are minus 120. The Angels are plus 100. We've got a total of 9 in this game. The Twins are 27 and 44 on the road, 36, 32, and 3 to the under on the road. The Angels are 34 and 37 at home, 39, 28, and 4 to the over at home. This is a bit of a toss-up spot if you're asking me. I'm going to lean just a little bit towards the Angels at home and thinking Kyle Hendricks can maybe get the job done if his back feels up to it, but this game is a full-on stay-away spot if you ask me. Next on the docket, we're looking at the Cincinnati Reds heading to San Diego to take on the Padres. The Reds and Padres are playing right now. The Reds currently up 3-0 in the bottom of the 6th inning, so we'll see if they can hang on there. At 72 and 71, they are still alive in the National League wildcard hunt. We'll see if they can make something of a charge here down the stretch. They're going to hand the ball in this game to Zach Littell. My twin brother is 9-8 on the year, a 3.81 ERA, coming off a terrible start there against the Blue Jays, and really his last 3 starts hasn't been his best stuff, struggling against Toronto, St. Louis, and the Arizona Diamondbacks. So we'll see if he can shake that off and have a good start here against the Padres. Overall, his season was looking excellent. Then the trade happened, and I don't know, it's been a little bit hit or miss down the stretch. So we'll see what he can do against the Padres, a team he hasn't faced since April. The bullpen for the Reds hasn't been terrible. It's been improving as the season goes on, but a 4.07 bullpen ERA, not a number you love to see. The offense, 3 runs in their current game, 3 the game before that, 6 the game before that. I wouldn't say they're swinging the hottest bats. They are 13th in the majors in runs scored. They are 21st in slugging percentage, 16th in on-base percentage. Like, they have their nights, but not necessarily a powerhouse-style offense. So we'll see what they do here in San Diego to take on the Padres, who need everyone they can get. They're only 1 game back of the Dodgers there in the NL West. They'll hand the ball in this one to Michael King, who's 4-2 on the season, a 2.81 ERA. He's coming off the 15-day IL, so we'll see what he's able to do. The last time he was on the mound was against Boston. That was an injury-shortened start back on the 9th. We'll see. I'm a little bit concerned about Michael King here coming off the IL. It might be fine. We'll see. Maybe it'll be okay. But regardless, the Padres bullpen will be backing him up, and it's the best bullpen in the majors. A 3.12 bullpen ERA is dominant stuff. The offense had a great series there against the Rockies. Not so good to start the series against the Reds, but we'll see what they can do down the stretch. They're 21st in runs scored this year. They're 24th in slugging percentage, but top 6 in batting average, top 8 in on-base percentage. They've got some bats. I think they're going to be fine. So looking at the numbers here, I'm actually a little bit surprised. The Reds are plus 150. The Padres are minus 180. A total of 7.5. The Reds are 32 and 37 on the road, 38, 30, and 1 to the under on the road. The Padres are 43 and 25 at home, 36, 29, and 3 to the under at home. I'm not going to lie, guys. I'd rather be on the Red side than the Padres side here at plus 150, considering Michael King is coming off the IL. I'm not in love with this spot. It's not going to make the pinned comment, but I do think the underdog has more value here than taking Michael King at minus 180 in his first start back from the IL. Next on the docket, we're looking at the St. Louis Cardinals heading to Seattle to take on the Mariners. The Cardinals and Mariners are playing right now. Seattle, they just took the lead. They're up 3-2 in the bottom of the 6th, so that's great news there for the premium members. The Cardinals, a 500 team, not out of the mix yet in the wild card race in the National League. They're going to hand the ball in this one to Matthew Liberatore, who's 7-11 on the year, a 4.15 ERA, coming off a great start there against the Athletics. He'd been struggling recently, but definitely got a nice bounce back there, pitching 5 1/3 shutout innings. 4 hits, 7 strikeouts in that one. So we'll see what he looks like here going up against the Mariners. I don't believe this is a team that he has faced this season. No, it is not. So we'll see what Liberatore looks like. A young 25-year-old lefty. We could see this going either way, to be honest. Now, the bullpen for the Cardinals has been excellent. A 3.58 bullpen ERA. Definitely not something to turn your nose up at. The offense down the stretch, though, has been bad. There's just really no way around it. They're 16th in runs scored. They're 17th in batting average. 27th in slugging percentage. 4-3-2, 5-2, and 3 over their last few. That's not the kind of numbers that's going to get the job done for this team down the stretch if they want to make a legitimate run here at a postseason berth. So we'll see what they do here in Seattle, taking on the Mariners, who are 75 and 68 on the year. They're only 2.5 games back of Houston in that very competitive AL West. They've also got their eyes on a wild card spot. They're going to hand the ball in this one to George Kirby, hoping he can keep things rolling here after they won 2 out of 3 against the Braves. Kirby's 8-7 on the year, a 4.47 ERA. His last start, he got obliterated at the Rays. Rays. Start for that was very solid against Cleveland. Start for that very solid against the Athletics. He tends to not get a lot of run support, so we'll see if that trend can change. But yeah, going against the Cardinals, I think he's in a pretty reasonable spot. The bullpen for the Mariners, not quite as good as the Cardinals. A 3.86 bullpen ERA, though, is not the end of the world. The offense, I mean, they looked insane there against the Braves. They're starting to score some runs here against the Cardinals. The makeover for this offense was nuts. I mean, they're 12th in runs scored. They're 20th in batting average, 11th in slugging percentage. Cal Raleigh up to 53 home runs is just absolutely insane. So we'll see what they're able to do in this game. The Cardinals are plus 175. The Mariners are minus 210. We've got a total of 7.5. The Cardinals 31-38 on the road, 35-30-4 to the over on the road. The Mariners 41-27 at home, 34-30-4 to the over at home. I think over 7.5 is an excellent value in this game. I have no idea why this line is this low. I don't care if the wind's blowing in, out, or sideways. I definitely think these teams are going to find a way to put up some runs. Neither one of these starters is amazing. Liberatore is so bad that I think the Mariners could potentially cover this number all on their own. Obviously, minus 210 for the Mariners is, reasonable. I think they'll probably win this game, but that's not a great price. I think the over looks much better to me. Next on the docket, guys, we got the Arizona Diamondbacks heading to San Francisco to take on the Giants. The Diamondbacks have themselves in quite the pickle now. They've got the bases loaded against them with nobody out. So we'll see what they're able to do to get out of that jam. At 72-72 on the year, they are also not out of the wild card hunt. They'll hand the ball in this one to Zach Gallen, who's 11-13 on the year, a 4.77 ERA. His last two outings, though, have been amazing. He's pitched 12 consecutive shutout innings. Both those games were shutout wins for the Diamondbacks. Crazy stuff. We'll see what he can do against the Giants, a team that he hasn't faced since early July. And he was very good at that outing as well. So we'll see which version of Zach Gallen we get in this game, but I'm expecting him to be pretty good. The bullpen for Arizona has been a problem. Maybe not recently, but over the course of the year, a 4.71 bullpen ERA is pretty bad. Offensively, though, they've been hitting the ball. 4-5-10, 2-5, and 5 over their last few. This has remained a very solid offense. They're 5th in runs scored. They're 9th in on-base percentage. They really kind of tried to gut this team there at the trade deadline, and it didn't work out. They just keep right on hitting. So we'll see what they do here against the offensively challenged San Francisco Giants, who I'm really hoping can find a way to mess up having the bases loaded and nobody out. They just lost 2 out of 3 against the Cardinals. They're one game over 500, so they are also not out of the wild card mix in the National League. They're going to hand the ball in this one to Robbie Ray, who's 10-6 this year, a 3.31 ERA. His last start was against the Rockies, and honestly, his last 2, maybe even 3 outings have not been very good, starting against Colorado, Baltimore, and Milwaukee. We'll see what he looks like in this one going up against the Diamondbacks, a team that he faced back in early July and pitched a complete game where he gave up 3 hits and 2 earned runs in a 7-2 win. So obviously, a pretty nice spot for him. He had a mediocre start against them back in May, so let's not act like it's all sunflowers and roses here for Robbie Ray in this matchup, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Now, looking at the bullpen for the Giants, it's been excellent, no doubt about that. A 3.33 bullpen ERA, one of the best 2 pens in the majors. The offense, though, could use a little bit of help. They did find a way to score 2 runs there with the bases loaded, so congrats on that. They're 18th in runs scored. They're 25th in batting average and 23rd in slugging percentage. Offense is what's holding this team back. So looking at the numbers here, guys, the Diamondbacks are plus 125. The Giants are minus 150. A total of 7.5 in this game. Arizona 34-38 on the road, 34-33 and 5 to the under on the road. The Giants 35-34 at home, 38-28 and 3 to the under at home. I'm not in love with under 7.5 in this game, but I could understand somebody being interested. In terms of the side, I will take the Diamondbacks at plus 125. I actually think it's pretty good value here with Zach Gallen on the mound, but Robbie Ray does have great history in this matchup, so might not make the pinned comment. Rounding into the home stretch here, guys, we're looking at the Boston Red Sox heading to Sacramento to take on the Athletics. The Red Sox 79-65 on the season. They're actually playing right now up 5-0 in the end of the 5th inning. So probably feeling good about that. They're only 3.5 games back of the Toronto Blue Jays for the top spot in the AL East. They're going to give the start to Dustin May in this one. He hasn't had a great year. He's 7-11, a 4.96 ERA. His last start, the last outing wasn't even a start. 3 innings, 3 hits, 1 earned run there against Cleveland. Yeah, he's had a really rough time. Put in the pen for a second, maybe that'll help, but I'm not expecting miracles here from Dustin May necessarily. We'll see how it goes. He hasn't faced the Athletics this season, but I'm expecting him to be pretty bad. The Boston bullpen, on the other hand, has been excellent. That's not somewhere I expect them to struggle, but the offensive side, it's been okay. 5 runs in their current game, 7-1, 5-1, 11, 6, and 5. Not hitting the ball incredibly well. They're 6th in the majors in runs scored, though 5th in batting average. This offense is going to find a way to break out here eventually. So we'll see what they do here at the Athletics, who obviously not having a great time in their current game and are out of the playoff hunt. They'll hand the ball to Jeffrey Springs, who's 10-10 on the year, a 4.13 ERA, coming off a very good start there against the Cardinals, where the Athletics managed to lose 5-1, despite him looking very, very good. In terms of history here against the Red Sox, has he faced them this season? It appears that he has not. So we'll see how that goes. Down the stretch this year, he's thrown the ball not nearly as well as in the early goings, but not terrible. Now, the part of the team that's thrown the ball terrible is that bullpen. It's been atrocious all year long. And the offense, well, they can carry him to some wins. They scored 17-10 in 3 in that series against the Angels, but it can be pretty inconsistent. It's a lot of young guys, but they're 4th in batting average. They are 3rd in slugging percentage. This is a potent offense. So looking at the numbers here, guys, it makes sense that it's about a coin flip. The Red Sox are -115. The Athletics are -110, a total of 10.5 in this game. Boston's 34-37 on the road, 38-32-1 to the over on the road. The Athletics are 29-40 at home, 35-30-4 to the over at home. I'll take the Athletics. I don't like Dustin May at all. I'm more than happy to fade him in this spot. Definitely give me the Athletics here playing at home. Last but not least, guys, we're in the Colorado Rockies heading to LA to take on the Dodgers. The Rockies and Dodgers are playing right now with Colorado up 1-0 going into the 6th inning. So we'll see how that finishes up. The Rockies have had some success against the Dodgers this year. They just split a 4-game series with them a couple weeks ago. They're going to hand the ball to German Marquez in this game, who's 3-12 on the year, a 6.19 ERA. His last 3 starts have not been great. We'll see what he looks like in this one, but definitely not somebody I'm stoked to be backing. He did really struggle giving up 6 unearned runs there against the Dodgers back in mid-June. So we'll see what he looks like in this one. The Rockies bullpen's terrible. That's not a secret. Their offense, not much better, guys. 29th in runs scored, 29th in on-base percentage, and 22nd in batting average. They're atrocious, but the Dodgers just don't seem to take this matchup seriously. The Dodgers are 79-64 on the year. They need every win they can possibly get right now. The Padres are nipping on their heels there in the NL West. They're going to hand the ball in this one to Emmett Sheehan, who's 5-3 on the year, a 3.59 ERA, coming off a decent start against the Pirates, albeit in a 3-0 loss. He's thrown the ball well. Recently, the last time he faced the Rockies, it was an 11-4 win there for the Dodgers. 6 innings, 6 hits, and 4 earned runs, though, is not what I would term as dominant. So looking at the bullpen for the Dodgers, it's not very good. The offense hasn't been killing it recently either and is getting shut out currently through 6 innings in their current game. Looking at the numbers, the Rockies are +260, the Dodgers are -320. We've got a total of 9. Colorado's 17-51 on the road. That's an MLB worst mark. They're 41-26-1 to the under on the road. The Dodgers are 45-26 at home, 38-30-3 to the over at home. There's no value to be found in this game, in my opinion, guys. I would maybe back the Rockies just because I think the Dodgers are going to mess around and make it hard on themselves to win this game, but I'm not getting involved in this one in any significant way. Guys, that's all the games we have here for today. Unfortunately, looking like we're trying to bounce back from a very, very rough Monday. So do me a big favor, hit that like button for good luck on all of your bets. Subscribe to the channel if you're new around here, and let me know in the comments any questions you have on today's slate. I'm more than happy to get back to you. Thanks for watching. Click the link in the description to check out stumpthespread.com. Check out all the premium football picks we have coming up for this week. Check out all the daily UFC and MLB picks that are available over there. Also, check out the free picks that are posted every day and get on that free email list. It's a great value, guys. You definitely want to check that out. We'll see you guys right back here tomorrow, same time, same place, for more sports betting action.